What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a little Horizon Forbidden West news. This was a few days old. I think this really circulated around the internet around Saturday or Sunday, but this is talking about the ending, and not the actual ending, so there are no spoilers here, just to make it very, very clear. But the news is that there'll be one definitive ending of this game. You're not going to be able to basically choose, right, to go down different paths for the ending. Now, they do make some clarifications that you will have choices in the game that have some very strong, or I guess they're very strong moral choices. So I guess how you feel about yourself, how you feel about Aloy, that will be, changed throughout the game. But the actual ending is, the same no matter what. I actually don't mind this at all. I think it's not a bad idea. I don't think it's like anything better or anything worse than games that do have multiple branches. You think to some of the bigger open world games, but I feel like, I don't know, if you're leaning into a very succinct, like, heavy story, right, and you really believe in the story, then you want people to experience it. It really is just kind of, in my opinion, expanding what would happen in a more linear single-player game where you're not always fully on board with what's happening, but the developer, is trying to tell their story, so you go along with it. Like I said, I don't really think, I think to, like, The Witcher, obviously Witcher 3 has some pretty big, different, kind of endings, but it's also, if you looked specifically at The Witcher 3, it also is kind of the ending of that chapter, that trilogy, and then moving into whatever they do next, and they do have to now make some choices. That is always where I kind of get caught up, where when you do have multiple endings, to then have to pick one for the next game, that is a bit more difficult. But again, I see the flip side, right? You go through this entire game making decisions, you feel like they matter, the game kind of tells you that they matter, and at the end of the day, you don't have a choice when it comes to the ending. However, again, right, there's so many aspects of it. I do respect something like this more than a game like, say, well, I don't want to pick too much on Life is Strange because it's one of my favorite games of all time, but one of the biggest weaknesses of that game, right, is choice, player choice, changing a story, and then at the end, you're given two options, and they really are not what people wanted them to be, or certain games maybe where they give two options, but really, or I guess a handful of options, but something plays out no matter what. So I'd actually prefer a game like this that lets you pick throughout the game. You feel like it's, you're doing something a little bit different than other people, but ultimately the game, hopefully, I would assume, doesn't even give you a choice at the end. It just, goes forward, and then you just it makes it very easy, for the third Horizon game. It makes it so that you're not fooled into thinking that you have a choice in the ending, and then something happens no matter what. You know what I mean? Because that can feel like you got kind of ripped off, or like the game doesn't really care about what your choices are. So I'm fine with this. Again, I feel like if you're going to lean super heavy into the story, which definitely seems like what this, the first game was more of story in the backdrop. You learn a lot through like audio files, kind of like digital files. That's how you learn a lot about the history of the world and what's happened in the past, right? That's how you learn a lot of it, more so than I would say the actual quests. So if they're going to make that more of like a forefront thing, then that's fine. Then if they want to limit us to just what they want to tell, I have no problems with that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you guys want to follow me anywhere else, I have all my other social media in the description below. My Twitter, my second channel, our Patreon and YouTube memberships if you guys want to support us there. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.